up in the sky. Look, it's captivating. It's energizing. It's Eliances Heroes. Eliances is the destination for entrepreneurs, investors, CEOs, inventors, leaders, celebrities, and startups, where our heroes in business align. Now, here's your host flying in, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
That's right, and it's all about heroes. That's right, these are today's heroes. There's ones that are either mentoring others, creating jobs, starting, expanding companies. They're putting their heart and soul into what they do. And let me tell you, later on the show, we're going to have one of the Phoenix lawyers, Simon Kennedy of SPK Law, and wait to hear everything that he's doing. And also, too, later on, we're going to have someone that's going to talk to us about Time Freedom, the funding manager for Direct Source Wealth. And before we get started with our first hero, thank you, too, for the feedback that we've gotten from having the CEO of the National Brain Tumor on, and also Dara Torres, the Olympic swimmer, along with the president of Blue Cross Blue Shield Arizona. So let's get started with our first hero. Now, we hold many Olympians in especially high regard. I mean, they work hard to achieve the highest level and compete for our country. They basically spend almost, it seems like, their entire life for that moment, that one moment that really just is just absolutely incredible, and that the whole country is watching. And that's right, and our next hero is that person, Shannon Miller. You can reach her at shannonmiller.com. Now, she is the most decorated Olympic gymnast. Are you ready for this? 7 medals and 9 world championships. She's been inducted in the Olympic Hall of Fame not once, but twice. So, Shannon, you were part of this magnificent 7 team who won gold in Atlanta. What's it like to be like such instrumental part of the USA women's gymnastics team?
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me on. It really was just amazing. 1996 was an incredible year. It was an incredible summer. And to be able to not only be part of the U.S. team once again, for the Olympics, but to do so on home soil, to have the hometown crowd there in Atlanta rooting for you, this, sea of red, white, and blue, and to be able to come home and really bring home that gold for the first time in U.S. history for women's gymnastics, it was just absolutely magical.
Shannon, did you ever add up all the hours of training that you've done to actually be able to perform at the Olympics? I mean, I'm just curious what all of that adds up to.
I have no idea. But, for me, it was never about necessarily winning Olympic gold. It kind of, became over time. That was the next step. But when I started gymnastics, it was basically so that I would stop tearing up my parents' furniture. and then it was just about learning to do a flip and then learning the next skill and then going to a competition. And it just kind of snowballed from there. So I always felt like, there were fun things I was doing and achieving along the way.
You ever walk around just in public with the 7 medals around you?
Not so much, although my kids do sometimes wander around the house with them.
Now, you retired from gymnastics at the age of 19. You got degrees from University of Houston in marketing and entrepreneurship. Just love it. And then, not only that, your law degree from Boston College. Then you go on, it doesn't stop. You launched your company devoted to women's health. Where did it come from to say, okay, we're going to focus on women's health?
It was a little bit of an interesting way to get there for me. I knew I wanted to have my own business, start something, do something, and I wasn't exactly sure what that looked like. And I felt like after my degrees in undergrad, the law degree would help me with regard to running a business. But I really came to women's health through my retirement from Olympic sports. I knew how to take care of myself as an Olympian. I knew how to train. I knew that my body was my instrument, and so I had to fuel it. I had to protect it. I had to do the rehab and all of those things. But when I stopped gymnastics, when I retired, it was as if, I don't really need to do anything with regard to my health anymore. And it wasn't a conscious decision. It just kind of happened. I was no longer doing any kind of physical activity. I was still eating 6 full meals a day, but without the balance of the physical activity. And so things just weren't balanced, and my health was not doing well, and I was fatigued, and it just wasn't the right. It wasn't right for me, and I knew that could not go on. Mm-hmm. And so I started thinking about those ways that I could really take care of my own health as kind of a, quote, normal person. And then I began to do a lot of research, and I began to watch and listen to the women around me. And I can't tell you how many times I heard, well, I don't have time for that doctor's appointment, or I don't have time to exercise, I'm too busy. Oh, I'll get to it next week. I'm going to start that healthy nutrition. I'm going to start it next month or in the new year. And I just felt like there's this gap where women feel guilty for taking care of their health, and I wanted to change that.
Absolutely, and definitely needed. And you're listening to me, David Kogan, host of the Eliances Hero Show. Go to Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com. The only place where entrepreneurs align. And we're talking with Olympic gymnast, that's right, Shannon Miller, who could be reached at shannonmiller.com. And she doesn't have just 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or even 6 medals. She's got 7 medals and 9 world championships. But you know what, Shannon, it wasn't all just glitz and glamour for you, because something drastic happened in your life. And what was that?
Well, after I had launched my company, I had launched it in July of 2010, and several months later, after I was doing a radio show, I was interviewing physicians and nurses about every different health topic, and we were talking about cancer awareness and early detection, and it was about that time that I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and that certainly shook up my world and has increased my focus on cancer awareness, early detection, funding for research, all of those things, and also life after a diagnosis, life after treatment.
And that's, I mean, truly amazing. I mean, because too is through this too is you're also an author. In fact, your book is It's Not About Perfect: Competing for My Country and Fighting for My Life. I mean, with all the things that you do, you even also too as this author, what inspired you to write the book?
Well, it's funny. I was actually writing just kind of a journal, a blog on my website as I was going through chemo. And for me, it was just kind of this way to let those feelings out. And I kept getting asked over the next year, when are you going to write the full book? You know, when are you going to expand on this? And finally, people wore me down, and we talked to a couple publishers, and they said, absolutely, you need to write this. And really what it is it's a book about the lessons that I learned through sport that I applied to my cancer journey and really apply to every aspect of my life, from business to motherhood, to any challenge that I'm facing. And I felt like it was a great message because they're lessons that we can all identify with, but sometimes we just have to be reminded that we have everything we need already inside of us. We just need to bring it out.
What is, when you're competing in the Olympics, I always wondered, what is exactly going through your mind right when you're ready to just go out there where the whole world's watching you and counting on you and all this pressure and stuff? What's exactly going through your mind? What are you thinking about?
I say a prayer. I say 1 or 2 quick lines to myself to just get me in the right frame of mind. And a lot of it is really a focus leading up to the competition, understanding that the competition may be the moment in time where it's make or break, but it's all the hard work that led up to that moment in time that really makes a difference. And I always say competitions are not won on the day of the meet. They're won with the hard work and dedication that happened long before you ever stepped on the floor. And that's true of everything that we do. The big presentation at work, it doesn't happen on that day. It happens with all the work and all the preparation that happened beforehand. So when I go up to compete, I feel like if I've done the preparation, if I've put in the work, then I just have to go for it. And I can be happy about the progress and be happy about what happens no matter what.
Shannon, we've got a little less than a minute left. What are those prayers that you say? Would you mind sharing those?
Usually they're very quick. Today, God, please be with me, help me stay safe, and help me compete to the best of my abilities.
I love it. Absolutely amazing. Well, Shannon, You're a fighter and an advocate. You continue to educate and coach those in and outside gymnastics. Shannon Miller, most decorated U.S. women's gymnast. Reach her at shannonmiller.com. This is David Kogan with Eliances, ELIANCES.com.